This episode of Another Happy Pod is sponsored by Bales of Hay. Bales of Hay, guaranteed not to break your back.
Not breaking your back, not guaranteed. Bales of hay may also cause irritation, unpleasant smell, and death. Always consult a doctor before performing a leap of faith. Another Happy Pod are not responsible for any injuries or deaths that may occur.
Nathan, I love you. Nathan, I do. Trying to orchestrate some organic banter for you.
I'm just going to give you nothing.
Just straight up nothing.
Just straight up silence and rejection. So
That made me sad.
there you go. What's it going to be?
I'll take the silence and rejection, please.
That's cool. Let me play you a little song.
What are you doing? What is this?
An idea just pops into my head, and when it pops into your head, you just got to roll with it.
In the morning. What will we do with the drunken sailor?
What will we do with a drunken sailor?
What will we do with the drunken sailor? Heard I in the
And that was Drunken Sailor from the Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag soundtrack. You're back with another Happy Radio, and this is The Big Drive Home. I'm Nathan Bauer, keeping you occupied until 10 p.m. this evening. Send those texts in, let me know what you're up to, and we'll have a funky evening. I could be a DJ.
You could.
I could be a ring.
For off the cuff, that was actually quite impressive. I was vibing.
I was vibing too. I tell you what, fucking watch out, Chris Moyles. Does he even do radio anymore? Who knows?
I'm pretty sure he does. I'm pretty sure no one really. Is he Radio 1 or no? Chris Moyle show.
Yeah, the Chris Moyle Show, International Radio 1.
Oh, good. There's nothing that a bit of drunken sailor can't fix. Hello, Nathan.
What do you want?
Is that a yawn?
It was a yawn followed up by an abrasive question.
Well, what I want, Nathan, is to do this podcast and to do it with you, if that's all right.
Oh, I should probably do the intro, shouldn't I?
Oh yeah, go ahead, do that.
Okay. Excuse me. I'm just gonna leave all this in because I'm editing. Hello and welcome. Hello and welcome back to another Happy Pod, the show where we talk about pop culture and try to keep things just a little bit optimistic and positive. We don't always succeed, but we do make sure we have a good time doing it. My name's Nathan, and as always, I'm joined by everyone's favourite Lawrence Thomas High
God,
C.
you levelled it up this time. Oh, dearie me. Nathan, we're definitely not going to be able to keep it optimistic today because we're talking about a garbage film for dickheads.
Oh, no burying the lead whatsoever. Just straight. Can I also say we've started? We do these remotely, and we've introduced recently doing this over FaceTime, so we can see each other's beautiful faces, or rather, you can see my face. Whereas you have you've somehow found a way to position the phone right behind your fucking microphone, so that's all I can see.
I don't want you looking at me. Get fucked.
Well,
I don't want you reading my facial cues, knowing.
I want to look at you.
No, because you know when I'm fake laughing at you when you make a joke that isn't quite that funny. So I go, "That's funny."
That just wouldn't happen, though.
No, it does happen. It happens every episode.
Well, you hurt my feelings, sir.
I'm very sorry. We're 5 minutes in. What are we doing?
I don't even know. We're 5 minutes into the recording. We're not 5 minutes into the edit.
True. Now I'm giving the
This
game
is probably
away.
like 4 seconds worth of material.
Yeah, it's very true. Well, you're editing, so I don't know how cutthroat you're going to be.
Oh, mate. It's gonna be like fucking Sweeney Todd's pie shop. Anyway, welcome back to this podcast. Today we are talking about a movie based on a game, based on a book, which is not true, but there is a book of the game. So,
we're talking about Assassin's Creed. Let's get into it, or we're just going to waffle for another 5 minutes, and then that'll be 8 seconds of airtime that you've got there.
All right, well, why don't you do whatever you do then?
Okay, I'll do whatever I do. Yeah, Assassin's Creed. I watched it when it first came out in the cinema with you, and basically, I thought it sucked. I thought it sucked hard. So the other day I thought,
Do you remember what happened when we went to see this movie?
what did happen? I presume we laughed a lot at it, but...
Well, yeah, there was that. But we went to see this movie, and at the time we was in university in London, shout out London South Bank, and our cinema of choice was the Cineworld at O2 Greenwich. So we went along there. We decided that we were going to have a little meal beforehand, so we popped into Nando's in the O2. But as we were going there, as we was walking towards the cinema and the Nando's, which was right next to it, there was only a fucking movie premiere going on, and
shit.
fucking Vin Diesel and Donnie Yen were walking down the red carpet, ready to fucking take a look at that Triple X movie that came out.
Was that this movie? I didn't know that was this
That
one.
was this movie. Yeah.
Oh my god. Oh yeah, because it was is it Triple X? It was Triple X: The Return of Xander Cage was the movie.
Triple X, some weird shit like
Triple
that. I
X.
never saw it.
Triple X, Vin Diesel wears talcum powder.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a. Yeah, I forgot all about that. Actually,
That was such a weird night.
that was a weird night.
Yeah.
And it was only, I think the premiere was the most enjoyable part, given that we got to see Donnie Yen for 1 second. I think me and you both screamed from a few meters away, "I am one with the Force." I'm one with the Force is with me," or something. What is it? What's his
Yeah.
big quote?
It's that. I'm one with the Force is with me.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure he didn't hear us, but we went away feeling great about it.
Yeah, he loved it. And Beth, our friend Beth, who has also been on this podcast, she got a picture with Nina Dobrev, who is someone apparently famous. So there we go.
Yeah, she's the main girl in Vampire Diaries.
I do not care less. So anyway, yeah, I don't give a fuck about that terrible show. So we're talking about Assassin's Creed. I will disagree with you and say that seeing Donnie Yen was the most enjoyable thing about that night. It was pretty enjoyable. It was pretty enjoyable seeing Donnie Yen. Mm-hmm. And this film is pretty bad. Mostly.
Okay.
It's mostly pretty bad, okay? Let me tell you what I think happened with Assassin's Creed the movie. And I don't really think this happened. This is just a dumb story, okay? So basically, they filmed 2 movies. They filmed a good movie and a bad movie.
Yeah.
And then what they did was they took 3 scenes from a good movie and shoved them into a bad movie, and then you have this movie.
Yeah.
And those 3 scenes were everything set in the past.
Yeah, I would be inclined to agree. I did say, I wrote down some notes, there are 2 movies going on in this, because the distinction between them is just wild. Like,
Even the way they're shot it's really different, because the stuff, all the scenes in the Animus itself in the past are actually incredible. Watching them last night, I was amazed by actually how good it was. The action, it's mostly all real. There's very little CGI in those scenes. The CGI is all to enhance the background and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's not the actual action or parkour or anything like that. That's all done in camera and it's all real. And it's just really interesting and really good the way the camera actually follows around the actors and everything like that. It's a shame it's ruined by the rest of the movie.
yeah, I think the main thing, obviously, we'll talk about the actual whole movie as a whole, but if we're talking about the good shit, those 3 scenes, something that's really cool in this, which actually got criticism for, which I completely disagree, the way the action is shot is fucking stunning. Like, it's so good.
Yeah.
It's a lot of people said it was too Bourne Legacy, too quick cut, too much going on.
See, that's the thing. I think it is in the modern day, because there's a fight scene towards the end in the modern day, and that is very shaky cam, very quick cut, very can't tell what's going on. But I feel like in the past, it's actually shot differently. You can see what's happening, and there's a scene where like Michael Fassbender as Aguila, he's got like a bow and arrow, and he's I can't really describe this on a mic, but he's like moving it around and the camera's moving with the bow and arrow.
Yeah.
And it's just really interesting, but there's nothing like that in the modern day stuff.
That's one of my favorite shots in the whole movie, because he moves it and the camera kind of jars left to right again.
Yeah.
Until you kind of see his eyes roll and he decides to ricochet the arrow off a wall.
It's almost like the camera is mounted onto the arrow.
Yeah.
The way it's like moving around. It's really well done.
So this is what confuses me, right? Because Justin Kurzel, a name that we know very well, basically for some context on that.
Along with Marion Cotillard and Michael Fassbender.
So they basically me and Nathan at uni, we had to write an essay, and one of the things we chose to write about was the 2015 Justin Kurzel film Macbeth. Justin Kurzel also directed this film. I think Macbeth is a pretty damn good film. It's not an easy watch. You have to be paying attention.
I never want to see it again.
As far as like Shakespeare adaptations go, though, it's stunning. Like it's a beautiful looking film, and it's good. It's a shame that someone someone dropped the special sauce in Justin Kurzel's directing process, because Assassin's Creed just sucks ass. It's just, do you know what it is? It's like a wet fart of a film.
Yeah, it is. I think it's just massively let down by a number of things, really. But I feel like the biggest one, for years, people have been saying the most interesting part of Assassin's Creed is the stuff in the Animus. Everything outside, the modern day saying it's the least interesting part, which is why, over the course of the games, it appears in them less and less.
Yeah.
To the point where it's almost non-existent these days. It's pretty much just all...
in the games currently, it's like you get the setup, then you get the middle, then you get the end. You barely ever touch back.
Yeah, exactly. And it's really optional if you do want to leave, and most people, myself included, don't, because there's nothing to do. There's nothing to do.
Was it Rebecca's always like, why don't you stretch your legs? Why don't you get some walk? Why don't you not stay in the Animus all day, because it'll hurt your head or something? I get out, look at one poster, and I'm like, back in the Animus I go. That's me done.
Exactly, yeah. Because it's the most interesting part. You're exploring history and able to do parkour and run around and do all kinds of shit. Why would you want to stay in a clinical facility with a weird arm that drags you around? It's all very, very stupid, and they massively made the wrong decision in the layout of this film. I read that it was 65% modern day, 35% in the past. That should have been flipped. That should have absolutely been flipped.
To be honest,
yeah.
I would go as far as to say, because they wanted to set up a universe when they did this, or they wanted to set up a franchise.
This was the first in a planned trilogy, yeah.
Yeah. What I would have done is introduced Aguilar's story, told the entire movie as Aguilar's story, and then have the ending of that film set up Callum.
That would have been good.
Yeah.
So it starts with Aguilar, have the whole film, and then at the end he comes out the Animus.
Yeah.
As a kind of twist thing.
Yeah, which I think would have been cool, and then obviously in the second and third film, then you can kind of have a bit more of an even split. But get people on board by giving them what they want.
Yeah.
And that's another thing this movie does. It kicks the Assassin's Creed fans in the teeth relentlessly.
It really does.
With stuff, right? So Assassin's Creed is a great franchise of games, and it's always been hailed for how much it embraces the dumb shit.
Yeah.
It's never shied away from the I'm a game, you can jump off like a 200 feet tall building and land in a barrel of hay and you'll be absolutely fine.
Yeah.
But then the movie takes himself too seriously for that. So when we get to the amazingly shot leap of faith sequence, it cuts back to Callum landing literally like I've just jumped 2 foot in the air and landed back again.
Yeah. Yeah,
it's crap.
Again, amazingly shot, because they actually shot the leap of faith. They actually had a guy jump. I think it got the world record for the highest free fall stunt in a movie or something like that. Because it was real, because they did it.
Yeah. I wonder if Mission Impossible Fallout beat that with the.
Oh, this was after.
Jump.
Oh, actually, yeah, it's probably did actually, because that was all real, and that was very well done as well. But the fucking, what was I going to say? Yeah, the I remember me and you were raging in the cinema when that happened. We were so excited to see a bale of hay, and then when it cut away, it was like, "Fuck no!"
Yeah,
there
that's
is
what pissed me off because they fucking Marion Cotillard as well. Is it Cotillard?
Cotillard, yeah.
Cotillard. Yeah, she's there, and they build up the moment, and Assassin's Creed fans know what's coming next. It's either going to be water or it's going to be or it's going to be a barrel of hay or like a hay bale. Yeah. And so we were sat there, and she even goes, "A leap of faith."
Oh, she doesn't do. She doesn't do that there. That's
when does she do that?
That's when he jumps off the bridge towards the end.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, still fuck this movie.
Still fuck this movie. I noticed this time though. I don't think I noticed this the first time, but during that chase sequence before he does the leap of faith, there's like a guard on a ledge, and he like shoves him off the ledge, and he falls into a cart of hay. So I noticed that, but I guess that's there as like a little nod and a reference because they're not actually committing, the fucking cowards.
That's too little, too late, though. That sucks.
Well, that's before it. That's before the actual leap of faith.
I've watched this twice. One of them literally I finished it less than an hour ago, and I didn't even notice it. So that's how obviously evident their fan service is.
Here's a note I have. Animus is stupid.
It's like this. It's the Toy Story, the claw. It's that
so
thing.
fucking. That's not the Animus. That's not what the Animus does.
Look, I can forgive this to an extent because it's a movie, and Michael Fassbender sleeping on a fucking bed is not very compelling and dynamic to see.
Yeah,
it's like
I understand that.
You know in X-Men when James McAvoy was like, "I'm going to put my fingers to my temple when I do mind control stuff, because otherwise I just look like I'm squinting and need a poo."
Yeah.
So that shit I understand, but then stop cutting away. Just stick with one. Either do all the action someplace.
The weird thing is though, what Ubisoft wanted to do with this is they didn't want to just do an adaptation of an already existing story. Like, they didn't want to just do Assassin's Creed 1 and just cut it down into 2 hours and say, here, have that. Which I admit, they wanted to do a different story just set in this world, which I'm like, cool, fair enough. But they also wanted to set it within the existing universe. But if you do that, you have to play by that universe's already existing set of rules. So if this is still in that universe, then we know what the Animus is, and we know what the Animus is capable of, and what it does. None of which is it projects a 3D environment with ghosts or whatever, because that was all very, very strange. And it
essentially just transports your consciousness into kind of my cat is climbing all over the desk, and Nathan can see it now. So yeah, it normally just projects like a consciousness into your kind of ancestor's self, and they won't. If they notice it at all, it's because you've overused the Animus, and then you get the whole like Ezio saying, "Who is Desmond?" kind of thing. But yeah, it's just right. This movie, that's something that I'm gonna say. I respect the fact that they didn't want to do. To be honest, it would have been pants if they just did like an Assassin's Creed game as a 2-hour movie, because Assassin's Creed games are famously like 100 million years long, and it would have been pretty awful to condense it. This, to me, feels like someone forced an AI to play every Assassin's Creed game, and then the AI wrote a script.
Yeah.
Because it does little things like it says, we need to get the Apple of Eden. Why? So we can cure violence. And then they get it. And then like one thing happens, and then someone will be like, he is synchronizing. It just feels so weird.
It is. Like, it does just seem like keywords and just stuff you kind of know from that universe just plucked into it. Yeah, it is pretty weird. The one thing, Jarvis, fuck off. One thing that is okay. Well, there we go. One thing that is strange about this movie is just how incredible the cast is. And I don't mean like the cast are all performing. Like, there are some big names in this cast. Like, weirdly big. Like, you got Michael Fassbender, Marion Cotillard, Jeremy Irons, Michael Kenneth Williams, Brendan Gleeson, Charlotte Rampling, Dennis Menochet, who's the French guy from Inglourious Bastards. Like, what the fuck is going on?
And none of them deliver anything close to a memorable performance.
None of them do anything good. It's so weird that you got so many big name, incredible actors, a lot of big British names as well, and it's like all of them wasted, massively wasted, with nothing to do.
Do you know what I'm going to phone it back to Macbeth again. So how this came about was Ubisoft had already basically said, if we're doing this, we're doing it with Michael Fassbender. I don't know why. They just obviously took a liking to Michael Fassbender and wanted him in it. He agreed.
He was big in 2013, apparently.
Must have been. He said, I'm only doing it if you get Justin Kurzel to direct and Marion Cotillard to play whoever is the female lead. And they said, okay. And they got all of them because I presume they wanted Justin Kurzel for his like rich imagery and like way of painting a scene, like very iconic kind of beautiful shots, and Marion Cotillard to presumably deliver a great performance, which she has done many a time. In this, she just says like phrases. Like, she just says, like, key phrases, and then she tries to, like, they even mention it, like, oh, she's great at delivering, like, the one-liners in speeches for her dad.
Yeah.
But everything she says is just, like, something that's, like, a tagline from a game or a poster. It just seems so weird.
Yeah.
I don't know.
There was no real reason for any of it. That's the perfect way to describe it. It was just all lines for a trailer. That's really what it was, and it's a shame when you got an actress who's that good, who's done incredible performances. She is, as much as I now hate that movie Macbeth, she is incredible in it.
She's amazing in that film.
Yeah.
They all are. Everyone in that film is delivering some A-game performances.
Yeah,
and that's why I just don't understand. This had all the ingredients for success, and it's just so dull. It's
There's
boring.
also some really weird choices with the fact that Michael Fassbender plays two characters. He plays Callum, but then he also plays Aguila, which kind of makes sense. But then you also have people in the past who look really similar to the people in the modern day. Did you notice that?
Yeah, I did. Yeah. At times I kind of rewound him. It's like, is that?
I had to look up the cast because I thought like the big beefy security dude, the guy from Inglourious Bastards, was like the villain in the past. I had to like look it up. It's not. They're
the main guard.
Yeah, they're like two different actors, but I really thought they was the same for quite a lot of this movie. It was a really weird choice.
The difference between them is essentially one has a beard and the other one doesn't.
Yeah.
They look really similar. And the guard in the modern day kind of storyline even has this big sequence where he chats to Michael Fassbender and says like, oh, I respected the assassins because they show like great integrity, great moral character. They're able to kind of sneak in, lie, all in the name of their beliefs. And then he's like, you're not one of them blokes. I was like, that made me even more think like that's a very personal thing to say, considering you're a security guard who doesn't know this man. Like, it made me think like, is there some sort of bleeding effect going on with him? But then they're just not the same guy, and it's fucking weird.
Even Maria, who was another great character, like Aguila's partner in Spain, in 15th century Spain, she looked like Marion Cotillard as well. Yeah. So it was just really strange to have that, and it seemed like it was a deliberate choice. Maybe it was just a coincidence, but especially given the fact that you had Fassbender playing both characters as well, it seemed really weird to have such similar looking actors play those roles. I don't know why.
No, I'm with you. I think there's a lot of this stuff that doesn't make sense. What do you think about I'll tell you what, let's just get into the actual story of it. So it opens with Callum as a young boy who goes home and sees that his dad, who is part of the Assassin's Creed, has killed his mum, who is also part of the Assassins, I think.
Yeah, she is. Yeah.
And then the next time we see Callum, it's 30 years later, and he's like obviously this kind of delinquent criminal, and he's basically just hell bent on killing his dad, and he's pissed off, and he's a bit of a miserable bastard. Did you understand any of the the relevance to the opening?
No. Well, the stuff with the mum later on, it makes more sense. You're given more context for that later on. But mostly no. It was all very strange. Again, just weird choices were made again. They say he's on death row because he killed a pimp. Why did he kill a pimp?
And why a pimp?
And why a pimp? What was the significance? Did it have to be a pimp? Did it have to be such a funny choice? Because it is funny. But
It is funny. When people think of pimps, they don't think of pimps in the traditional sense. They think of like San Andreas, GTA, long purple coats, feather hats. Like it's a funny choice.
It's a very funny choice, and it's not meant to be a funny choice. So
No.
it really makes no sense. I don't understand. They could have said anything else. Killed a drug dealer, killed someone, a rapist, whatever. Like, why did it have to be a pimp?
That's something that I just don't understand. And
Yeah.
also, like, in terms of that, him killing a pimp, which is a moment that is not intended to be funny, is basically the only moment of levity in this script that takes itself so fucking seriously. There is
Yeah.
not a single joke. There is not a single moment of tension relief.
Yeah, I actually didn't notice that, but yeah, you're right. I can't think of one. I don't think there is.
There's literally not a single moment. And bearing in mind this film is 60% very long expositional dialogue sequences.
Yeah.
I've played every single Assassin's Creed game. Every single one. And I was still at some points like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah, so it's really weird. I think what's going on with his mum is that his mum has Isu DNA, ones who came before, meaning he does too. Like Desmond and like other characters in Assassin's Creed, she's a descendant of the Isu, the ones who came before, meaning she'll have access to eagle vision and the other sort of stuff. And
Do you want to explain what Isu is to people that might not be familiar?
So in Assassin's Creed, Isu are kind of like what we would call gods, but they're just a different civilization. They're originally called the ones who came before because they came before the human race. They created the human race, and so they was on Earth. They inhabited the Earth millions and millions of years ago, but then they were wiped out by a devastating natural event like meteorites and some shit, and their civilization was lost mostly. But there's descendants popping up every now and then, one of them being Desmond in the games, and then clearly Michael Fassbender's mum in this. And though their DNA is able to be read more cleanly with the Animus, which is why Abstergo seeks out these people. So I think that is why Brendan Gleeson killed her, because she didn't. I think she said like she didn't want to spend her life in the machine or something like that.
Something like that, and and it's revealed later because when we first see her in the opening scene, in the flash back opening scene, I guess.
Yeah.
It's she's just dead. She's already dead.
Yeah.
Whereas when we see her later on, we get some more context that she's actually forced the knife in herself. She's forced the hidden blade into her own neck.
Yeah.
So she's Donald Gleeson. Brendan Gleeson's given less of a kind of villainous arc at that moment because you realise that he was probably doing this out of some degree of love. But yeah, it comes really late in the game and after the big confrontation between him and Michael Fassbender and Brendan Gleeson. So it doesn't really just provide any more levity at all.
Yeah, it's just wasted potential. Again, it's just really like there could have been something great done there, but for whatever reason, they just quickly rushed it along and confined it to this one small scene, an irrelevant point in the movie, which didn't need to be there. So, again, a weird choice. Not sure why it was there.
It is weird. I'm pulling up my notes to see what else I wrote about this.
Arno was there, so that's cool, I guess.
Arno?
Arno is the protagonist of Unity.
Yes, that's on the French dude.
Yeah, he was in like where the sequence with his mum.
Yeah.
He was one of the assassins in that sequence.
Oh, there you go.
Which is why Arno? Like, surely Ezio would be the obvious choice.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't played Unity in a long while, and my last experience with Unity was less than great. I hear they've cleaned it up quite a lot, and it's not bad.
It's a good game.
At this point, I'd imagine it was still probably the lowest rated critic score of Assassin's Creed games.
Well,
like,
no,
this one
I
was
think
not particularly well received.
I don't even know if it had come out, had it?
Had it not? Well, how would it have done? Oh, that's a
Oh
weird
no,
fast
no.
forward
So what?
reference.
Yeah, no. So this Unity came out in I think Unity came out like the year before this came out. I think.
Okay.
So like this would have been shot as Unity was coming out.
Oh, maybe that's why they tied it in then. But yeah, surely of people to be there, like Ezio, Lucy, Sean, Rebecca, Desmond, William, like, it's just weird. The tie-ins that they wanted to establish, and I'm pretty sure later in Assassin's Creed games you can get like in the boring modern day aspects, you can get like emails from Sophia.
You can,
is Marion
yes.
Cotillard.
In Assassin's Creed Origins, you do get emails from Sophia, and they also have like the blueprints for that version of the Animus, and then like information on why it was scrapped and everything like that. Which is
they're retconning it in emails of their games. Oh,
yeah,
my goodness.
and then there's like information on the death of Alan Rickman and that sort of thing. But yeah, this like I said, this was supposed to be the first in a trilogy, which is obviously not happening now. This was pretty quick to die off, and then Netflix now have announced that they're doing an Assassin's Creed series, so I'm interested to see what that could be. That seems like it could be something quite good, but in terms of the movies, it's dead, and I think that's for the best.
Yeah, I think this is one of them situations where I'm excited to see what I think a more competent studio will do with probably a better format for this kind of material, which is episodic TV.
I think that's a better format, yeah.
Yeah, and also hopefully, knowing Netflix, a little bit more of a respectable budget, because we've seen what's possible. Like again,
I don't think it had
the crew.
I don't think it had a small budget by any means. I think it was like, from what I read, I think it was like 180 million. I want to say.
Oh, okay, fair enough then. I don't know where it went, considering they did a lot of stuff in camera.
Drone shots.
Yeah, true. Literally helicopters, endless helicopters.
Let me look that up. Carry on talking.
Yeah, go on. I'm interested to know. I think Netflix is going to be a better home for it. Episodic TV is a much better platform to release it on, because then you get the element of mystery, you get the element of build-up, and you also get to tackle the issue that you're not just stuck for like, I don't know, 20 minutes in modern day, 20 minutes in the past or whatever era you set it in.
125 million.
125. That's respectable.
Yeah, and it grossed 240. So I guess it made its money.
Okay. It made its money. I think it made probably a lot less than they were anticipating it making.
Yeah, I would imagine so. Especially when it's like a big franchise name like Assassin's Creed, which literally is the birth of AAA gaming. It is the first AAA game.
Yeah.
It is the blueprint now for a lot of AAA games. Like, how many games have like the viewpoint and everything like that? It is.
Assassin's Creed was doing shit way before any other studio was doing shit like that. like they introduced a large amount of like skill tree progression, a large amount of like like the eagle mechanic of like what was it, like the Batman does like the
tagging enemies and that sort of thing.
Yeah, but like Batman does, what is it, like the night vision kind of thing,
detective
like
vision
sense. That's it. Yeah, so loads of games copied this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd imagine it didn't make its money back at all. I do want to say in this movie that we're kind of slating into a little bit, because it could have done so much better. With
It's
a more
just
competent
wasted
script.
potential. That's what it is.
Yes, yeah, but I think everyone in the crew brought their A game. Like,
Oh, yeah, I think so.
I think, like the locations look. Basically, everything
Incredible.
in this game, everything in this game feels, even the modern stuff, and looks like an Assassin's Creed franchise. Like the modern stuff, dislike how it was shot as I do, it still looks like the modern day Assassin's Creed kind of scenery.
Yeah, I guess.
It all looks good. The costume design is amazing. I'm pretty sure you play a lot of the time in Aguilar's costume when you can, because you get it as like a Ubisoft reward or something.
Yeah, it's I think it's in Origins. You can play in Agulous costume, and it looks good. It does look good.
Yeah, so like there was a lot of backing behind this, a lot of people kind of giving it their A game, but it just failed miserably on a story perspective. Like it just did nothing interesting with it.
Yeah, like I said, it is just wasted potential. I think this is a movie massively let down by the writing, which is a shame, because I read like the Michael Fassbender, Justin Kurzel, and Marion Cotillard, they all spent quite a lot of time working on the script together and working on what would be the best outcome for these characters. How they decided on this, I'm not sure, but I guess this is what we got. And yeah, it is just like you said. There is a number of different ways this could have gone. The idea you had about this being entirely set in the past and then pulling away to the future at the end, that could have been really good. That would have been really interesting. I'd imagine.
Well, if anyone from Ubisoft is listening, I'm going to trademark that right now, and you can give me the money. You can give both of us the money. I'd say we came up with that together.
Yeah, exactly. But it was mostly me. So
That's not true. I was being nice.
No. What else? Any other notes here?
I'm having a look. I think I've gone through most of what
anything you would like to see from the Netflix series?
I want to see an assassin I don't know. Completely. I want to see basic Assassin's Creed, but a completely new story.
Yeah.
Like, I want some random dude, just like Desmond, working in a bar, normal life, to have his entire world flipped upside down. And I want to be like introduced to things as if I'm a fucking moron, because Assassin's Creed lore is complicated. And if you just expect people to know it, people will drop off.
Set the entire first episode in the past.
Yes.
Do that, Netflix. Do that. It. One thing I would like to see is I would like to see an Assassin's Creed storyline. I know we're talking about the movie here, but one thing I've had an issue with the games lately is it's not really focused on Assassin's Creed as much. It's like the assassins are just an element of the story, but not really there. Like in the last one, you don't even play as an assassin, which seems strange. So I'd like it to focus...
especially considering there's a moment where the main guy who is an assassin comes over to you and goes, "Do you want to be a part of the assassins?" And you go, Nah,
I'm good, man.
don't fancy it.
Well, this game called Assassin's Creed, it's very fun, isn't it? I'm glad I spent 60 quid on this.
Yeah, Assassin's Creed
it's a
was
fun
at
game.
its best
I
when
like
it was
Valhalla.
focusing on that.
It was. I'm recently playing through the Ezio collection at the moment, and it just reminds me how good the Assassin storyline is, how intriguing it can be, and I wish the games would go back to that. But that's an episode for another time. Any final thoughts on this 60% pile of shit, 40% pretty good movie?
I'm very confident in saying that today will be the last time I probably watch this movie ever. Like, I think you've summed it up perfectly in the sense that it's just wasted potential. It was an IP that could have done and spawned an amazing trilogy that we could still be talking about as like one of the highlights of like gaming translated to movies. But it didn't break the curse. It didn't break it, and it's sadly just become a forgotten about movie. Like, I've seen this twice, both times after I've basically immediately just forgotten about it, and I will do after recording this.
Yeah, it seems like that curse is hard to break, but it has been broken, and we will talk about that another time. Now, what I thought we could do, Lawrence, I had an idea, because previously in the past you've tried to like corner me and threaten me into some terrible rating system that you came up with during the first episode, and I've always hated it. Never liked it. It's been well documented how much I hate that. So I was thinking we should do something else and keep it a little bit simple. Basically, you have two options. Do you watch this movie or do you skip it?
Okay. Oh God, so many variables. I think I can say this very confidently. This movie is one to skip.
Yeah, this movie is absolutely one to skip. It has no consequence on the Assassin's Creed story overall. You're not going to miss anything. The only thing I would suggest is maybe just looking up the Aguila scenes on YouTube, because those are pretty good. But probably not worth sitting through 2 hours of mostly shit. Sorry, Justin. There we are. Anyway.
Wait, I got one more thing to say before we wrap up.
All right, well, hurry up then.
This is an open call to Garrett, a friend who recently has been chatting absolute waffle.
He's not going to hear this.
I'm going to at him. He's going to hear this. I'll at him with a time code. This is an open invitation. Accept our podcast invite, which you ignored on Twitter, to discuss your stance on the Assassin's Creed games. Probably not anytime soon, because we've just done an Assassin's Creed episode. But yeah, the DMs are open, Garrett.
Are they open?
I don't know. Probably. He knows who I am. Just message me anywhere else.
That's true, Garrett. We would love to have you on if that is something you want to do. So there you go. Why do you want to have him on?
So what was he saying? He went on Twitter the other day and tweeted that Unity was the best game in the franchise. At which point I sent a gif of Bayek looking shocked from Origins, and then he said, "I think this is the worst game in the franchise." And me and you famously love Origins, so I want to hear his thoughts on why my least favorite Assassin's Creed game is his favorite, and why my favorite is his least favorite. I'd be quite interested to hear what he had to say.
I think though, I think, and this is just me, if you are going to have that debate, I think it is at least fair that you have played both games, Lawrence.
Oh yeah, I will be. I'll be playing Unity in full. Definitely.
Okay. We'll see. Watch this space.
Like I said, this is not going to be a soon episode.
All right. Well, there you are, Garrett. The call is out there. Feel free to respond or decline. I know you enjoy wrestling, so consider this a call out. Is that what they call it? I don't understand wrestling.
I think so. I tell you what, let's wind him up and make it dead short. He'll come on. Wrestling is for nerds.
Why did you say that?
So I know he'll come on and get cross. But then we've got him on and we can trap him.
So Lawrence has taken the role of the heel here, which is the villain in wrestling. So he's calling wrestling a nerd, and he's calling you a nerd, Garrett, specifically. So come and defend it. No, Garrett doesn't give a shit about defending honor. He'd be like, I don't care.
Yeah, it's true. It's very true.
All right, Garrett, we love you. We hope to see you on the podcast soon. Lawrence, wrap this shit up, baby. I gotta take a poo.
Okay, Nathan's got to take a poo, so I'm going to get really close and tell you that if you like the sound of this dulcet tone, then you can hear more of it on Another Happy Pod, at Another Happy Pod. You can follow us on Twitter, you can follow us on Instagram, and you can also follow us on Twitter and Instagram. I don't know where I'm going with this. yeah, we're going to be doing episodes weekly, as we always do, and sometimes don't do. They come out on Fridays, a random time, more than likely in the afternoon or the morning. Just look out for that notification.
10 a.m.
Also leave us
10 a.m. They come out 10 a.m.
They come out 10 a.m. on Friday. I've been live updated. The anchorman has been in my ear and told me this. Also, give us a review. We still need a review. So far, the only 5-star review we have is from Nathan, who is a co-host of this podcast. So
Does it say my name on the review?
Yeah. So if you'd like that to change, give us a review. If you listen to this, which I'm sure a few people do, all the way to the end at least, give us a nice wholehearted review. Let us know your thoughts. Other than that, that's it. Bye.
Another happy pod. Bye, you cunts.